Good evening, boys and girls. Welcome to another live edition of the Highbury Squad. Hold your horses. Yes, it's true. Real football is back, and boy, have we missed it. We were on a run before the international break. Can we pick up where we left off? But it's Liverpool next, and it's LL Cool James in the house. It's Tactical Squad. Let's go.
Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad.
Good evening, boys and girls. It is the Highbury Squad. It's Tactical Squad. He's back in town. That's right. One of the coolest cats in the Arsenal community. Mr. James Johnston, welcome back to the Highbury Squad.
Thank you very much. Pleasure to be here yet. One of those.
One of those.
Squaddies, ace, one of them.
Oh, I love that. You did it. You did it swift. You did it quickly. I love that. At ease. Absolutely. All the knuckleheads are in the house. They're back. Welcome to the usual suspects. Thanks so much for joining us this fine Thursday. Football is back, you guys. And my goodness, the Gunners have a massive, massive game ahead of them against Liverpool at Anfield. The dogs are excited. I mean, they've been sleeping the whole time and they decide to wake up when the show is on. They know. Hi, Rich. Hi, Tammy. Hi, Taib, complaining about us maybe, not being late. Yeah, more like it. Always something to complain about, huh? You guys, so ungrateful. Brady's Banana, hi, excited for the weekend, 2-0 to the Arsenal. We've got Oseen. Is Josh injured? He started a new job. He's not shirking his responsibilities, nor is he intimidated by the tactical prowess of Mr. LL Cool James right here. He started a new job, so he's been exceptionally busy. But next Thursday, hopefully, we're going to have both of them on the show to talk tactics. Mark, good evening. Stephen, good evening. Michael, Ola, Kentucky. I like myself a little bit of Derby. Also, I love myself a mint julep. Let's be honest.
And I like their chicken, so it's all good.
Right, let's get stuck into it, shall we? Vinny, Vespa, quiet, for crying out loud. Listen, it's so professional
they're
here.
so happy to get rid of the international break.
They are. They really are. They really are. Before we kind of kick off, I just wanted to remind everybody, if you're looking for some Christmas fare, and this isn't a promo, we do not have any type of promo with Ruth Beck Art. We are just promoting her phenomenal work and all of the wonderful things that she does as part of being an Islingtonian. She's got some Christmas cards going that are inspired by the Arsenal and Islington, the city of London. Let's get behind her. You get a 20% discount if you use code Highbury Squad. It's all in the description of the show. Please be sure to go support Ruth and get your Christmas cards from her as well. All right? So don't forget that. Jeez. These dogs are playing like Anfield 89, Steve McMahon, midfield style. That's what they're doing right now. Ignore them.
I will say as well about Ruth, I ordered a Father's Day card from her and very quick service as well. Not trying to jump in. I'm not trying to force people's hands, but
James.
Not only is it great art, it's very quick service as well.
I love it. And she's wonderful and she's an epic human being. So let's please do get behind our talented Gooners, and you can find Ruth's info in the description of the show tonight. Right, let's get stuck into it. Matty K has not popped round yet. He's been suffering from jet lag, but we are going to be meeting up fairly soon. Good evening, everybody. Barking for the Arsenal is right. Let's get stuck right into it. Liverpool versus Arsenal. I'm going to read out a couple of bits and bobs for you before Mr. James takes over here and takes us through his tactical analysis. This is the longest unbeaten run of any side in the Premier League right now for the Arsenal. That is right. The Arsenal have the longest unbeaten run of any side in the Premier League. You heard that correctly, people. We've won 6, we've drawn 2. 14 games without defeat from August to December in 2018 under Emery. So you know what? We know that we're on the right trajectory. If you can compare the two and look at our stats even prior to this season, at the beginning of the season, when a lot of people, including myself, were poo-pooing this current coach. It looks like we are evolving and we are improving indeed. The Arsenal have 6 clean sheets in the last 9 Premier League games. That includes the last 3. We haven't had 4 consecutive clean sheets since May 2015. So that tells you about how we are improving as a squad. And as much as it is to do with the manager, James, it also has a lot to do with these new signings that have come into the squad with their new DNA and culture. But allow me to continue. Liverpool Football Club are unbeaten in 9 Premier League games at home. They've won 5, they've drawn 4. They had lost 6 in a row at Anfield before that stat. They have ended up drawing their last 2 games at home after leading. So that gives us hope. If we're going to look at especially the Brighton game, I think that we need to take stock of that and learn from that as well. But since Jurgen Klopp has taken over at Liverpool Football Club, we have only won 1 of 11 matches. The head-to-head after 58 Premier League games, it's 23 wins to Liverpool, 16 to the Arsenal, 97 goals scored by Liverpool Football Club, 72 by the Arsenal, 18 clean sheets for the Anfield outfit, and 12 for the Arsenal. The current form table, Liverpool Football Club, lost 1, drawn 1-1. The past 5 games for the Arsenal Football Club, 1-1, drawn. Mr. James Johnston, I now hand over to you, and I put your team up. Do you want me to put your team up, or first, would you like to tackle some of Kev's content, and then we can mesh it all together?
What do the squaddies want?
Screw the squaddies.
The squaddies probably want to see Kev. So I'd say let's put Kev's clip up, and then we can jump in on there.
Okay, hold on one second. It's called an introduction. I don't know what's wrong with me today. I'm so tired. I hardly slept last night. It's called an introduction, Newman. Okay. I don't know. It's kind of chaotic. Maybe I will just play the video from Newman so I can control the dogs. Here we go. Play the video from Kevin. Holy shit balls. Here we go.
Sophie, JJ, squaddies, hope you're well. Just a quick question for you, JJ. What's your thoughts on Arsenal now after, 11 games? And what's your thoughts on, obviously, Arsenal at Anfield? Are you confident, or do you have some trepidation? And last but not least, what do you think's going to happen with Nicolas Pepe? Do you reckon he'll make the jump and be more consistent, or do you think he's one of those players who will struggle for the rest of the season? Anyway, have a good show, squaddies. Sorry I'm away at the moment, but I will see you for Kev Says tomorrow. Sophie, JJ, squaddies, at ease, everybody.
Okay, James, there are like almost 200 people in live chat, and a lot of them are talking about your hair. Is there anything?
Appreciate that.
Is there anything you do
chat.
with your hair? Firstly, number one,
just wash it. It's Tresemme is the brand I use. Again, we're not plugging stuff, but yeah.
I use their hairspray. I use their hairspray. Actually, it's pretty decent. All right, let's park the Pepe question for now.
Yeah,
and let's kind of mesh all this and marry it by putting up. I think who you think Mikel Arteta is going to pick first.
Do you want me to answer his first question about how I feel?
So absolutely.
Yeah, how I feel about Arsenal, and then am I confident going into this Liverpool game? I actually am. Mad enough, I'm actually very, very confident, which is weird for me. I don't normally get like this, but Arsenal at the moment, for me, have been absolutely sensational. Manager and players, to go on the run that we're on, I'm actually quite impressed. You consider them first 3 games that we had, and I do take opposition into account, and obviously performances. They can improve, especially offensively. But I think defensively, we've been absolutely solid. And I attribute that mainly to not only how well Ben White's come along, but how good Gabriel has been since he's come back. I know Emil Swift-Rowe for me has probably been our player of the season, but if you were to put the one next to him, I would say it's Gabriel and then potentially Ramsdale. Them two have completely changed, especially Gabriel. I didn't know how good his command of English was, but I've seen him do a video with Cedric where they were commentating over games. And yeah, he's got quite a good, command of English, and he's got a presence there and a leadership there. And okay, Aubameyang wears the armband, but I think the true captain that holds it all together at the moment, especially, is Gabriel. So, yeah, in terms of at the moment, I'm very impressed. And for me, this game is a complete free hit due to how well we've played in the games before. If we'd have slipped up, I'd have been really worrying, because I'm like, oh, if we lose and get battered here, I'll be bitterly, if we do get battered, I will be really, really upset and I will be disappointed. But at the same time, this game's a complete, in my opinion, it's a free hit. It's a free hit for me. We can go here and we can do whatever we want to try and do, because we've been okay in the run up to it. And there's games after that I believe will pick up the points in. So I know someone here's put, look, there's no free hits. For me, this is a free hit for me.
Okay, so you and I often agree a lot about stuff. I think we're into that moment now where, and by the way, if you agree with the legend that is Super Kevin Campbell, hit and smash that like button, nut it Vinny. He could hear Vinny going nuts in the background. So please do hit that like button. And if you dig what we say, subscribe if you're not subscribed to the show yet. I think this is a no-hit zone now, James. I believe that in order for the Arsenal to move forward and continue, it's like we're in that business meeting where the owners want to show you the trajectory and the curve that is upward right now. I think that there's a time where we have to stop making those it's a free hit excuse if we really want to build on the foundation that this new team has been able to help Arteta execute in terms of their mentality, their tenacity, their fight, their leadership skills, the fact that we don't fold like cheap lawn chairs on a Sunday afternoon on Brighton Pier. This is the moment for us to really make a stance. I don't agree with the fact that we have to continually be tested, James, but I do think that this is an opportunity for another statement game. I believe that we did brilliantly against Leicester, and we showed that the love-in for Rodgers and Tielemans and this squad that Leicester have put together that continually, kind of excel in the Premier League. But they've also failed 2 years in a row and choked at the very end to not qualify for the Champions League. But they get a pass because they're the beloved romantic story of Leicester City. I think this is the time now to turn the screw and send a message to the football world that says Arsenal Football Club are truly back. If we can do that at Anfield against Liverpool, that is when people will start to take us very seriously in the Premier League. If we give it away and say, okay, we get a pass because it's Liverpool at Anfield. No, those times should be gone.
No, I totally see and agree with where you're coming from. It's just, for me, I think a lot of people confuse who Arsenal are with where Arsenal are. So do I want to go to Liverpool, match them, hell for leather, go toe to toe and beat them? Of course I do. But I've got to be realistic. And again, when you put my teams up, which you will, what I picked from the point of view, you told me to pick what I think would get us a result. For me, I think a draw here is the best result we're going to get. If Arsenal beat them, oh my goodness, like you said, that's a statement. And again, we're slowly getting a bit of the respect back. You remember we took 4 players to the Euros. This last international break, we had 13 players. So other people are looking and going, this Arsenal lot ain't too shabby at the moment. And yeah, what a statement it would be to go there and win. And like you said, some maybe not to the extent of, Arsenal are back, but it's a huge, huge statement. But I think the best we can get here is a draw, sadly, but that's just me being realistic.
I agree with you.
It's the wounded animal. They're coming back off that game.
Okay, so the wounded animal for me would have been far more relevant if there was no international break in between. If we were facing Liverpool the week after they'd lost to West Ham 3-2, I would say, yes, absolutely beware of the wounded animal. There's a very short space of time to prepare. Jurgen Klopp gets his team riled up and ready. You heard my stat at the very beginning of the show in terms of how many times we've been able to even get a result against Liverpool since Klopp has taken over. But with the international break in between, with Liverpool and Arsenal having players gone away and come back from playing with their countries, I think you start with a clean slate. Now, do they have that last result in the back of their heads? Of course they do. Is it going to be a motivation for them? Of course it is. But with that same token, Mikel Arteta has a team that has 1-1-1-1 drawn. So we're the form side in the Premier League. Yeah. And at some point, you've got to take the training wheels off the kid when they're learning how to ride their bike. You've got to rip the Band-Aid off the Arsenal Football Club and say, okay, now's the time to get a result. If we lose, okay, fine. Never fine with me. Expected perhaps at Anfield, yes, James. But we have to evolve. And you can't evolve if you continually get the same results at specific spots as a club.
No, just for me, I don't think we are completely there to do that yet.
Regardless of that.
Yeah.
What?
No, I know what you're saying.
Are West Ham completely there as a team? Not really. They're evolving. They're evolving.
Compared to us and where they are in terms of what they can do, I'd say, yeah, they're that tiny little bit better than we are at the moment. I'm not saying we can't get there, but currently, for me, I'm looking at it. They're the most high pressing, sustainable high press, Gegenpress, whatever they call it in Germany that Klopp does. They're the best at it in the world. We can go like we've seen against Spurs and other teams this season, but we can't do it for 90 minutes. And that's where if we go toe to toe, like my team will explain when you put it up, that's where we're going to get caught. We cannot go toe to toe because we're going to get done. It's not sustainable.
I agree with that. But also at the same time, I think we have to be smart in games like this. It's not about going toe to toe. It's also about, for example, not parking the bus and not parking the spaceship, but being smart enough to understand the deficiencies of us, the strengths of them, and actually getting to a point where if lower placed teams in the league can go and get a result, or a Brighton can get a 2-2. Brighton went into that game. They're fearless. They've got nothing to lose. Of course, Arsenal Football Club are much bigger. We, on paper, in the press, with fans, we have everything to lose. If we lose, the sky's falling. But if we lose with dignity, okay, fine. But I guess my overall point is, at some point, you've got to move the needle. You've got to strike and try and get a result. Against a big team, we've been able to do that well against Liverpool in the Community Shield. We did it well in the Project Restart phase. We've done it against Manchester City and Chelsea in the Cups. We did the double on Chelsea in the league. These are the moments, James, where you've got to start building on that. So I'm going to put your team up and then you can address it, right?
Sure.
I'm going to put the team up that you think Mikel's going to pick. Here we go, you guys. Let me get rid of this comment so you can... There you go. Oops, no. Here we go.
Yeah. So for me, I think Mikel's going to bring Tierney back in, and I think he's going to Partey apparently is fit. They put the post up earlier saying that every single player apart from Xhaka and Kolasinac is fit to go. And then again, same, that team at the moment mostly picks itself. Other than there's two questions that obviously I can explain when you put my team up, but that's what I think the manager's going to do. I think he will. I honestly think he might try to go toe to toe with them just like you've said, because he wants to try and prove a point. He wants that not only for the team and for us, but he wants that for him as well. He wants to go away, like he did against Man United last season with no fans there, and beat someone that's classed as one of those big six. I mean, if he does it at Anfield under the lights, that's quite a big kudos for him.
This is a huge moment for him. And Ekeni, I don't have to sign any legal document. I lambast the team and the manager where it's due. If we put in a poor show and we play so pathetically, I'm not going to sit here and appease you and sign a document to do that. I'm going to say what I see. So I appreciate what you're saying, but at the same time, I'm not going to credit the team if they're shit, to put it bluntly. Okay? This is the first real test for our back four, B9. You're 100%. Raul thinks 5 at the back. So with that said, I'm going to put your team up now, JJ. Let me get rid of this. Here we go.
So for me, I've put Lokonga out, and I've gone for Maitland-Niles, and I've also gone for Tavares, whatever one you want to call him. I've done that over Tierney. Now, the reason being is, for me, Maitland-Niles against Leeds was man of the match, and against Watford as well, I thought he was brilliant. I thought he was absolutely sensational. Now, the reason I've done this is because when Tavares bombs on, which I want him to be doing, Maitland-Niles can tuck in at that left-back role, which he did in the game last season when we played them. And he also done it in the game at home as well when we played them. And that is when he's asked Lokonga to do that. When he done it against Brighton, Lokonga got absolutely rinsed. And if Lokonga goes to Liverpool and he's played in the system where he's tucking in to cover for that left back, if he gets exposed, Twitter, the pundits during that game, they're all going to go for Lokonga. And I don't want that for him. I don't want Lokonga to bring Lokonga on if we're doing well as another player to control and maybe create something near the end. But I would not start him because he's going to get absolutely rinsed potentially if he's played in the way that when my left back bombs forward, if it's Tierney or Tavares, you tuck in, he's going to get rinsed. And another reason I've gone for Tavares is, even though Tierney's played those 2 games for Scotland, he gets knackered. I rate the guy and I love the guy, but he does get, and like someone's put there, they are relentless. They will run Tierney into the ground. I mean, the game last season, Mane threw a Tony Ferguson elbow. Any UFC fans in here, they'll like that one. He got out and he had a stinker. He had a complete stinker that game after that elbow. So you need potentially people that make Salah and Trent Alexander-Arnold go that way. Yep. Yeah, exactly. Make them run that way. Don't run toward, you've got to make them think, well, hang on, if I overcommit, them two are going to do me. And that's what you get that's what we lose on the ball with Niles. You get the athleticism and you get the better defending. And I'll tell you who else is going to be massive in this game. Lacazette. If we score from open play, okay, if you look at the West Ham game, they conceded 2 goals from set pieces, and we're dominating the set pieces at the moment. So that's a route for us. Go for the set pieces. But against West Ham, they completed 383 more passes than them. So we're probably not going to have a lot of the ball. But when we do, Lacazette is so important because you've said it, Sophie, for about 2 years now. He is our version of Bobby Firmino.
Yes.
So he's going to put his back in there, hold that up, and he's going to draw people out. Now, if you look at the 4-0 goal that West Ham scored against Liverpool in the last game, that Bowen dragged them back and it brought Van Dijk and all them a little bit further forward, and then 4-0's running behind. That is peak what Smith Rowe can do with Lacazette. If Lacazette can get there in that middle past, if it's Keita or Fabinho that are in that too, if he brings them out and Van Dijk pushes up a little tiny bit as well, you can slip Aubameyang or you can slip Smith Rowe, even Saka, either one of them, you can slip them in behind. So for me, if we score a goal in open play, 100% put money on Lacazette being involved somehow. because he's going to be vital to that.
Okay, so there's a ton of comments coming in, and I want to get as many of them up
Sure.
for you as possible, because I do agree with Lone Star here, even though sometimes we don't agree. Stop their fullbacks and show some fight in midfield of the park. However, there are these concerns with regards to where Demsek says Lokonga over Party. For me, they then bring Party on. I think a few people are worried about him coming back. Dr. Ill says tucking in at left back makes our midfield worse. Party just came back. He can't be in midfield alone. What do you think about that, James?
Yeah, I agree with what he's saying, but it's not. He won't be on his own completely. Like all I'm saying is that when Tavares in my system, I said the best we can get is a draw. So in that system, for me, it's like I said, start quick like we normally do. Try and get the goal, and then it's literally defend, and then maybe get them on the counter again if we can.
So another comment that's coming in from a few, and I'll put this one up from Newman, who's actually making sense right now. Lacazette too slow, he'll be overwhelmed. However, I think the opposite, but I wanted to bring it up because a few people are worried about that. But for me, what he helps is slow down things in that final third because of the way he can hold up the ball, the way he drags defenders in and opens up spaces, especially for players on the flanks, James. So I can see the concern about speed, but I don't think it's a concern. It's a concern going forward because Liverpool break so quickly, but I don't think it's a concern for when we're kind of counter-attacking, because it could be a situation where we have to wait because of the protection. So Lacazette is perfect conduit for that.
Lacazette, all he's got to do is a give and go. And just provide and let the others get in. And he's brilliant at that. We've seen him do that, all season pretty much.
Yeah, and Beauty Star says if Brighton can do it, Arsenal should. They need to show some pairs. And a few people have kind of come at me in chat saying you've already got the knives out, Sophie. That's fine. I respect your opinion. No, I'm saying we have to at some point break the mold. It can't just be in the League Cup at Anfield. It can't just be in the FA Cup against City and Chelsea. We've done it in the Premier League against Chelsea. It's time to evolve and move a step closer to our evolution as a more competitive team in the Premier League and start doing it against Manchester City, against Liverpool. We've done it against Manchester United. We've beaten our rivals. How wonderful would it be to continue this trajectory, James, and find a way? Even if we get a point at Anfield, I'll be ecstatic.
Same. I'll be over the moon. If you can guarantee me a point now, I'll take it.
I mean,
100%.
I do. So can we talk a little bit about them in the sense that I gave you all the stats in terms of what's happened in the last few years, right? It's not great at Anfield for us. But with that said, football is cyclical and things evolve. There's injuries. It seems like Mane's going to play now. Robertson is out, but Tsimikas, for me, is a bit of a wild card. We saw how he schooled us at the Emirates when we played Olympiacos in the Europa League. I was at that game, and he was very good. And I don't want to focus on who's not playing for them versus who you think will be starting for them and where, James, we could face some either physical issues or whether it's pace issues or whether it's formation tactical issues.
Yeah, so the big one for me mainly is, and I absolutely love him, is Tomiyasu against Mane. This could either be like that Cucurella did at Brighton. He could have another one here where you're going, ooh, you might struggle today, but he could absolutely smash it. Until it starts, you never know. And that's another one as well. Yeah, Jota's another one. He can be a wild card when he's in there. But for me, I don't trust all this about they're not going to be fit. I've seen it so many times. This one's not playing. This all of a sudden, I turn on my Sky Sports. They're all there. I don't trust them. I'm sorry. I think that they'll probably be as full strength as they're going to be. But, we got to mention his name because he's arguably the best player in the Prem. at the moment is Salah. You know,
Prem or the world.
you have to. If you're going to get something out of Liverpool, you got to stop that man. Which is why I've said double him up, go with Niles and go with Tavares, because again, it's got to be someone that makes him go backwards as well as he goes forwards. You know, Kevin mentioned it. When Ben White dribbles the ball out, forwards go, oh no, because they're the first line of the defence. So you've got to make sure that guy is thinking all game and not thinking about how I'm going to hurt Arsenal. He's got to think about, oh, I've got to do some dirty work as well as all my offensive work, which we know he can do. I mean, another point as well that I want to raise is the last couple of games, Smith Rowe has been everywhere. Not only has he been doing, you know, I haven't got all his distance covered stats. I wish I did. But the guy's covering, you know, so much ground that he's another one. He's going to be pivotal in trying to muck up exactly what Liverpool are going to do. But I think we're going to surrender a lot of the ball. Again, same as, like I said, against West Ham. They had 383 more passes than them. But West Ham still got the results because when they had their chances, they did what they needed to do and they cut the throat. You know, Aubameyang, can't have a Watford game here, buddy. You can't be taking people's goals away, missing sitters and everything else. You missing penalties. You need to be tip-top Aubameyang as well. You can't be the one that we saw against Watford.
Agree. So we all agree Jota. So there's a lot. I'm trying to find the perfect question because 300 of you in live chat right now, hit that like button if you like what James is saying. And if you hate Tottenham, it's very simple. A lot of this is coming in, James. And I don't want to give anything away for Kevin Says tomorrow, but let's just say there probably is a Martinelli question that has come in again from Mo. Is it time to protect Emil Smith-Rowe? I think you unleash Emil Smith-Rowe in this game. Let him play his heart out. And then if you need to make a sub, make a sub. But this is coming in thick and fast with Martinelli. Harry as well. I want Martinelli in now. Bundles of genius on the bench. He's on the level of Smith-Rowe and Saka. Talk me through this. Is he going to play a part in this match? I think this is the type of game that everyone has to be on deck depending on how it goes. We can't concede early. We just can't do that.
Nope.
That would be a killer. But talk to me about Martinelli.
So going back to Kevin's question about Nicolas Pepe, if Nicolas Pepe is going to go and we're not going to replace him, then Martinelli for me has to be that. You have to back that guy to be the first one off the bench now, because it's always going to be Odegaard or it's always going to be Pepe. So Martinelli for me, of course, I want to see him more. Of course I do. He's brilliant. He's excellent. Jurgen Klopp, who we all say is one of the best managers in the world, has gone. That guy's a superstar in waiting. Ronaldinho said he's the best young Brazilian player. Ronaldinho is arguably one of the best Brazilian players I've seen in my lifetime. You know, I was born in 91, so I've seen a couple, you know, the old school Ronaldo. But Ronaldinho, I was, as a child, I was mesmerised by the guy. He scored the greatest toe poke I've ever seen against Chelsea, Ronaldinho. Just completely, they all just stood still and were like, how's he done that? I watch it. I watch it back now, and I'm like, how did he do that? How did he see that was on?
James, sometimes I dare say he's not forgotten, but sometimes when people continue to have this narrative of the best ever players, I mean, what a player to watch. I mean, talk about appointment television, Ronaldinho, but go on, keep going.
Yeah, no, of course I want to see Martinelli in there. And if the game is going in our favour, then he is the right substitution to make, because again, like I said, you've got to keep pushing Liverpool back, and Martinelli will make them think, I can't leave that space in behind because he's going to rinse me with his pace, because he is rapid. He is absolutely rapid. Okay,
Universal Greek. James, any chance of a back three push our wing backs right onto their full backs? Oof,
that was something that I was considering, because again, and I don't know if it was against Man City, he didn't have the players that he wanted, and against Chelsea, he played a back five. So I was thinking, is this going to be what he does against the top, the bigger teams? Is go back five. But he didn't do it versus Leicester. So I'm thinking, like you said, he will want to go with the 4 and prove, look, I play 4 now. I've gone to Liverpool and I've done it.
Okay,
and that's
so
yeah.
This rides on Paul James' comment. Brighton and West Ham went 4-4-2 with a high press and did well. If we can do the same with a better defence than both of them, we should get at least a point.
Yeah. The big thing for me is West Ham especially have Antonio that was an absolute nuisance to Alisson. We don't have that bully forward, sadly. I think we might buy one eventually, but we haven't got that guy that completely just bullies a player out of a game up top. Like, he was giving Alisson headaches every corner, everything. He's just right there on him. And you could see Alisson's like, get this guy away from me now. I can't take it anymore. I don't like him being here. So, yeah, I would love to, potentially do 4-4-2 and do that. But we haven't got that guy yet, I'm afraid.
Runs with cows, and this has come in a lot, and it was one of Kev's questions. I think Pepe has had many hits and misses. A lot of people think he's a flop. I just think he's someone that hasn't lived up to the expectations. I think he's at times shown his level of potential genius, but unfortunately, you have to be consistent in football, and you have to be consistently good in football. He's saying Pepe had a decent game in this fixture last season. He made Van Dijk look ordinary, probably the best I've seen him play. All true. Will he feature, James?
Like I said, he's normally the first off the bench, if not him or Odegaard. So I can see it potentially happening. But it all depends on what's happening in the game at that moment. If we start fast, like I say, get that, 1-0, and then we defend like we normally do, Arteta has a tendency of, when he's winning, instead of going for the game and trying to get another goal, he normally brings all his defenders on, and then when he's doing really bad, he chucks all of his attackers on. So it wouldn't surprise me if we're winning and we're about 1-0 up or what have you, that he doesn't go El Neni, Chambers, all holding all of you on, save me. So, which is fine. I don't mind that. But again, like I mentioned earlier, they are the team in the world for sustaining that for 90 minutes. We're sustaining that gradually. We've had 35 minutes, then we've had 42, then we've had a half against this team, but we haven't had a full 90 minutes where we've sustained completely, as well as defensively, offensively.
You know what, James?
If we can do it against Liverpool, Sophie, oh my word. My word.
If they play heavy metal, the Arsenal play jazz.
Yeah.
It's a little spontaneous. You don't quite know what you're going to get. It's not fully formed yet. It can be up, down, sideways, backwards. Yeah. If they're heavy metal, we're jazz. I did want to throw this up from the Robot Will Eat You, who completely hates me, but this is the beauty of the show. I still put your comments up, even if you do. If we get a penalty against Liverpool, who takes it?
Lacazette. End of.
Do you really think that will happen?
No, Aubameyang's going to pick that ball up 100%. To make up for the one he's missed.
You want Lacazette to take it?
Of course I do. 100%. Yeah. I'd rather Ramsdale take it than Aubameyang, but Aubameyang's going to pick the ball up. He is.
Yeah.
He is. And you talk about the heavy metal.
I'm joking, babe. I'm joking.
You talk about the heavy metal. If we can do Metallica with the symphony orchestra, I don't mind that. That's a great album.
Oh my gosh.
I'll have some of that.
And nothing else matters.
Yeah. Give me some of that. I'll do that. I'll play metal, but a bit mellow. I'll have a go.
I almost thought I kind of went to heaven that day when I saw them. That song is one of my it's in my top 10 all-time songs ever in the history of the world. Yeah, absolutely brilliant.
They were my first big concert I ever went to at Wembley. It was great.
Fantastic. The best concert I ever saw at Wembley.
So much
pyro. Yeah, I mean, you weren't even born when I saw Michael Jackson at Wembley, James.
Yeah. My mother won 3 tickets. She worked for Britvic, so
Wait,
they were
so
the.
did you just say your mother in the same sentence where I said?
Yeah.
I know. I'm old enough to be your mama. That's one of the things I love about this show. I'm old enough to be everyone's mama. Hey, Albert, how you doing? Greetings from us as well. But the best concert I did see at Wembley Stadium, I was 15 years old and I was standing on the turf on my cousin's shoulders and I'm watching. It was the Bad Tour as well, the greatest Michael Jackson tour ever.
It's his best album. People come at me. I'm ready.
Oh, yeah. Come at me too. I don't care.
Got Dirty Diana on it. The end of
okay,
discussion.
do you want to hear something crazy? At that appearance, he was singing Dirty Diana. Princess Diana was in the crowd.
Yeah. He didn't want to sing it, but she met him backstage and told him it was one of her favorites. Yeah, he thought it was going to be disrespectful. Yeah, I've read. Yeah.
Totally. And I was on. It's the only time because I'm claustrophobic, the only time I've ever stood on the pitch for a gig and I was in awe. And it was July 15. I remember it clearly. The rain started pouring down on Wembley Stadium and Michael Jackson is there. And I'm thinking,
very jealous.
Oh my God. That was just unreal moment. Yeah. I'm sorry you're jelly. But let's get back to the Arsenal, shall we? And hope we can create the same type of bad fireworks at Anfield. What's your biggest concern? So this weekend on Sunday, by the way, we're premiering a new show. No other podcast is doing it. And I announced it a few weeks ago and we're excited to bring it to you. The Goalkeeper Show, James. And it's all going to be about Aaron Ramsdale, our goalkeeping, the evolution from Leno to Ramsdale. Just brilliant stuff from Mike from You Are My Arsenal. He's a goalkeeping coach. He's taking his goalkeeping badges right now. And I'm really excited for this show. And I think one of the biggest things that gives me the confidence going into this game is his communication, his ability, his prowess, and the development of that relationship between him and his back line. That to me is the strength that our forward line have to bank on finishing their chances, because I think our back line and our goalkeeper will help stop the bleeding, right? Which means we've got to take our chances more than ever in this match. Tell me where you think our strengths and weaknesses are. You've talked about the tactical formation and stuff like that, but in terms of where the game's going to be won and lost.
Yeah, so someone made a cracking comment earlier about would I like to see Ramsdale pinging balls over their midfield? 100%. 100%. We've seen his distribution as well on the floor, like just as in clean passing as well as long passing. So yeah, for me, get him on it. If he can beat the press with his passes to get us in, I don't mind going route one at all. Especially against Liverpool. If you have to win mucky like that and play football that's not attractive, who cares? People here said to me, no free hits, get the points by any means necessary. So yeah, I'm happy for that to happen. But again, the strengths is just at the moment and I think West Ham had it in their game, it's the energy and the togetherness. There's a collective belief with all of them at the moment. And I think that is what they have to, we can all sit here and go, we don't think we're going to do this. We don't think we're going to do that. The players have to think they've got to get something. That's the most important thing. And there was an article I read today that apparently Arteta gave a pre-game talk against Norwich and another one against Spurs that the players said was so inspiring to them that it's really helped push them on. And they've always remembered that in the last couple of games as well. So I think maybe Arteta's got to deliver another one of his, the president from Independence Day speech to try and rally them all up.
I worked on that movie.
Yeah, it's a classic. It's a classic.
Yeah.
And it's a great scene.
I didn't love it. I didn't love it. I have to say I'm not a fan of that movie, but I can see why people are. So totally. Okay, so we're 44 minutes into the show. Keep your questions coming in. Everyone's now telling us their favorite concerts they've ever been to. We've got Thin Lizzy. We've got Daft Punk. We've got so many. But James, if you had to kind of hedge your bets and pick who could potentially be our man of the match. So Emile Smith-Rowe has proven himself to be quite the player for the Arsenal. Yeah. And of course, you can't really judge his England debut. San Marino were like, I don't know, my dad's Guffenel in Cyprus pub team, you know, whatever you want to call it. They weren't great, but he has been superb. Saka's been superb. If you had to pick the guy who's going to unlock this match for us, who's it going to be?
So, one second, is it who's going to unlock it, or who do I think is going to be man of the match?
Okay, it's two. It's unlock it.
Yeah.
Unlock it first. My bad. Mm-hmm. My bad in terms of how I formed that question to you, but yeah.
So, in terms of unlocking it, said it earlier, it's going to be Lacazette. Lacazette's the main man that's going to, if like I said, if anything's going to happen goal-wise, you can bet a bollock to a banjo or a barn dance, whatever the saying is, that it's going to be Lacazette will be involved in some way. Because, you know, and I know that I said earlier we haven't got that player, but if there was going to be someone that would be a nuisance per se, it's Lacazette. He's the closest we've got to that Antonio nuisance type player. Mm-hmm.
Did you see the goal Antonio scored for Jamaica, by the way?
Yeah. Insane. Yeah. The guy's just on another level at the moment.
Do you think Odegaard's going to have a few people have thrown this in? Mm-hmm. I mean, it's kind of like he's gone from being not a talisman yet, but an unlock the key kind of guy. Is he someone you bring on to unlock something with 25 minutes to go?
Again, it's all about what situation. It's the reactiveness instead of the proactiveness. Whatever's happening in the game, we've got to react to that properly. And I'm very critical sometimes of Arteta's subs in terms of who it is and when it is. So it's got to be, again, it's another one where I'm watching. You got to watch how the game's going before you. But Odegaard's a great player. You know, me and Kevin discussed it a couple of weeks back. Although that he's not featuring as much at the moment, he's going to. He will eventually. He's a top player. I love these kind of games where we pocket certain players, and we've seen some of our players do it. And I thought it was epic where, you know, Ben White had that kind of game against Tottenham. Gabriel's had those types of games. Demsek is calling a Tomiyasu pocketing Mane. When we talk about the unlocking, it's Laka, but when it comes to man of the match, it's going to be that person, that player that is engaged from minute one, James, to the very end. For me, I feel like Gabriel's going to have one of those beastly games, but in this type of game, there could be a surprise. What's your take on who could be that absolute backbone to getting some type of result against Liverpool? So, it's one that I think, obviously, because the defence are going to be under it. I don't think it's a shock if I say I believe that Ramsdale will probably be man of the match again, because he's going to get a bombardment like he did in that second half against Leicester. And if he just pulls off, you know, the save. So if he does another Gandalf, you know, you shall not pass game, for all the Lord of the Rings fans out there, it would. Him or Gabriel, but then again, Gabriel's not a shock for me for how well he's been doing. I mean, one that I would go, okay, would be White. If Ben White had a completely, you know, if he didn't get done on his aerials, if he was passing it out and creating something, I would go, well, that proves to, you know, that justifies this guy being here, because there's still a lot of people that are questionable over him since. And also because of the Saliba situation as well.
Could set pieces be a route to victory for us?
100%.
We saw that with West Ham.
100%, yeah. We're dominating on the corners as well. So, 100%. Corners, little free kicks, try and get Saka or Smith-Rowe to buy us some fouls high up. 100%.
Okay, so James, another question for you. if you were to call a surprise inclusion in the team, because I've been putting them up for you and I don't know if you've seen them, but more than a couple of our listeners think that there could be a curveball and Arteta would choose Odegaard. Maybe that's for ball control. Maybe that's for slowing things down just a little bit. Do you think there's any way that he would, and if he was going to include a surprise package against Liverpool, who do you think it will be?
I think it'd be like what I wanted, and that it would be Tavares for Tierney and Niles for Lokonga. I don't see Odegaard.
Do you think Tierney's a surprise, or do you think it's reverting back to his trusted? They always say that with Gareth Southgate, right?
Yeah.
Harry Maguire in bad form for club, Kane in bad form for club. You know, a lot of these players, but he picks them, and then for England they perform. Do you think it's more of reverting back versus it being a surprise choice between Tierney and Nuno?
I think if he picks Tierney, it would be a surprise for me because of how well Nuno's done. And for what, I perceive that we need to do to get a result. And this is the thing. It's not a case of me not liking Tierney. Tierney is, I've got a Tierney shirt. He's my favourite player. Absolutely adore Tierney. But for this game right now, at this time, for me, it's not the time. Bring him on. Again, like I said, if we're winning and we want to react to what's happening and we want to shut it down, put an extra, centre back in there maybe and go to a 5, bring Tierney on. But I would not start, even though he played the 2 games for Scotland. I believe, they had Denmark, which was a difficult game.
He made a phenomenal interception after the penalty in that game.
I thought it was the first one.
That was the first game. That was the first game.
I can't remember who. I should know who they play. My dad's Scottish, but I don't pay attention. I don't pay attention, sadly. That's for all the international. I don't care unless it's a tournament. I'm sorry if that upsets people. Although I did enjoy the Serbia result the other night. I must admit, I enjoyed that, but I've got no interest.
Moldova.
There we go. Yeah.
But so it's not a bad thing if Tierney comes back in and plays. That's the beauty of this Arsenal Football Club, right?
Yeah.
Where we're at right now. If Maitland-Niles comes in for Lokonga or Lokonga plays for Maitland-Niles, it's not such a bad thing. Here's where I want to leave this. We've always wanted an Arsenal team that picks itself. And we were on a trajectory. I think if there's no international break in between, Nuno starts, Lokonga starts. But with the international break in between, James, I think it's up for grabs in terms of those 2 positions in particular. And you went a little differently to what you thought Mikel would do. But to be in that position where, we have these players, we've been crying out for it. But with that same token, the beauty of the Premier League, consistency, competitiveness, and climbing up the table is knowing your best 11 and allowing that best 11 to pick itself. Am I talking out of my arse or my elbow?
No, you're talking absolute facts. So I want Niles, but like I said, I believe it's going to be Lokonga. And another reason for that is that he needs to form partnerships. And before, obviously, Partey got injured, it was Lokonga and Partey. And they were doing very, very well with one another, just as well as White and Gabriel were doing very, very well with one another. So, again, that was the main thing we were criticising Mikel for last year was, oh, my goodness, he's playing this one at left back this week or that one at right. He didn't have a settled back line and a settled line in front of them. And some of that was due to injuries and problems, the situation we're in the world, a lot of teams had to change on the fly. But at the moment, they put the statement out and they said everybody's fully fit, apart from Xhaka and Kolasinac, who, if they were fit, I wouldn't be playing them anyway.
Exactly. Absolutely. 100%. All right, James. So let's get to our predictions. Brilliant comments from everyone in chat. We'll, of course, be ready to go live immediately after the game. James, you want to join me in the post-game to kind of back up your statements? Are you around or are you going to Anfield?
Unfortunately, I'm not here.
Oh, you got a hot date? Come on.
No, I
Better
wish.
be a hot date. Are you going to the zoo? Are you going to the zoo?
No, I'm not going to the zoo.
Okay, fine. Just leave it at that.
Yeah.
We always like to extend the invitation to folks who come on the show and, of course, talk tactics. Let's see, robots, my nemesis, my lovely nemesis, Sophie. Sometimes I'll yeah, I know, it's true. It happens. Sometimes I do. 2-2, 1-1. James, what is your score prediction?
I'm gonna go for 2-2 as well.
I'm
going to be bold and brave.
Yes, taking a draw. I don't know yet, but I'm going to go. I can't see us conceding. I can see them. I don't know. I feel like we've got a shot and a chance. Like
if we keep a clean sheet away at Anfield, I will be so impressed.
I will be too. I mean, Arnie's going crazy here. 3-1. We got 2-1. We got 2-1 to Liverpool. We got 4-3. We've got 1-0 to the Arsenal. 2-1, 1-0. I think because we've been doing so well, now's the time. I'm going to believe in my team. I'm going to say 2-1 to us.
Oh, nice.
See, who said I'm anti-Arteta? Who said I don't believe? Let's just, keep it that.
Yeah.
James.
And that would be massive as well. With like someone else again put up, there's 8 big games over that Christmas period.
Yes.
You beat Liverpool at Anfield going into those 8 games.
But we also have a Norwich over the holidays. We've got the EFL Cup quarterfinal against Sunderland. Then we've got Wolves. Obviously, New Year's Day is the game against Man City and stuff. So that's going to be the biggest test.
Well,
all right,
Newcastle and Man U, we got 2 potential new manager bounce games there. You know, Ollie might be gone by the time we play. I doubt it, but he might be.
I know. He's there till the end of the season. I think so.
You think?
Yeah, I think so.
Wow.
Well,
okay.
Unless they get humiliated in another big game, I can't. Who's on is Ten Hag going to leave his post now? Do you know who I think would actually be good that never comes up for them is Yogi Love. They need some type of defensive disciplinarian who can also then just tactically, geniusly mastermind everything else going forward. But I don't want to help them right now.
No.
You know, don't let me give them ideas.
No.
Johnny Boy said, should the squaddies set up a roadblock to delay the Liverpool team bus to fatigue their players? We await orders. I think you'll have a lot of takers on that. Put the drink down. Why? Because I said we're going to win. You guys hate it when I'm negative. You hate it when I'm a realist, and you hate it when I'm an optimist. So I'm in a lose-lose situation here. I believe that we can win this game because the timing is perfect for us to take the Arsenal Football Club baton to another level. Right, James, you said 2-2. I say 2-1. And the squaddies have mixed feelings about it. Thank you so much for sharing your tactical nuance with us once again. The Queen awaits the big result. You know, let's hope these two can pull it out once again and we get this type of team spirit, this type of vibe going, whether it's home or away. And this fella, let's hope that he can continue his phenomenal form. I didn't predict a draw. When did I do that? Okay, you guys can correct me. You always do. No yellow cards tonight. No red cards tonight. Arsenal face Liverpool at Anfield this weekend. James Johnston, a round of applause for you. Well done, well done, well done.
Thanks. I hope everybody enjoyed it.
Yep, I think they do, and they always do. I'm going to try and get some sleep before the big game, being sleep deprived. Tammy says, thank you. Trust the shambles, says Taib, always positive. Brady's Banana, Lacker's going to score a smudger. ESR, a Michael Thomas 2-0. Sophie, I don't see Arsenal losing this one. I love that. Saladin says, trust the process. Trevor says, his heart tells me 3-1 to the Gunners, but he thinks it's going to end up being a 2-2 draw. Robots coming back. No, Sophie, it feels like you're backing us to win primarily so that you can go on hard. James, I can't win, can I?
This guy is your nemesis, isn't he?
Officially, yeah. Mr. Waffle says, I'm with Soph today. I'm choosing to be positive. But I love him anyway, robots. And listen, you know I love all of you, whether we agree or disagree. I like this, and here's where I'm going to leave it right now, okay? Believe is it. Always believe that your team can win until the final whistle goes and we lose. But until then, James, how about that? How about them
Brilliant.
apples?
Fantastic.
You like that?
That's great.
Awesome. Here we go. This is us checking out. James, take us out.
Yeah, thank you very much, everybody. Hit the like button. How many are in chat, Sophie, please?
Well, there were over 300, so you tell them what you need.
Yeah, minimum 150 then. You know,
I mean, you're going Kevstar now. Should we bring out this little fella as well? Of course. Go on, hit that like button.
Hit that like button. All right, and take care, everybody. Enjoy yourselves. What is it? Communicate, appreciate, and validate. Was that the John Edwards? That was the classic, wasn't it? So, you know, take care, and yeah, Squaddies at ease.
If you want to carry on listening to some more Arsenal talk, pop over to our friends at Lee Judges TV. Take care.
Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad.